Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Brad, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about how one bad employee can taint the whole culture of your system. For those of you guys who don't know, I own my own private practice and I like to vlog about it. So today I want to talk to you about some mistakes that I made and what you guys can learn from that scenario. Okay, first off, nothing negative about the other employee. I know I've talked about other employees in the past. None of these employees currently work for me. Wish them all the best. And you need to look out for yourself, whether you're an employer or an employee. No one cares about you just like you do. So I totally get it. We had 3 physician assistants. And the one who's been there the longest, she's wonderful. She is a good physician assistant. She needed very little oversight by the time that she was done. But towards the end, she started pushing the boundaries to where I even had to get my lawyer involved. As my lawyer told me, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I was stuck in hell at the worst of it. So this person was having chronic health issues. I've talked about her before here. Wish her all the best, but she was taking a lot of time off. And there was a lot of complaints. So we pay our physician assistants, we pay them salary. And in my state, when you pay salary, if you work even a portion of the day, you get paid for the whole day. There's some exceptions to that. In our manual, we say that if you take more than 2 hours off, you have to use PTO unless it's approved by one of the managers. Well, this employee started having health issues and started taking 2 hours here, 3 hours there. Take a little bit of time off that was often just underneath our manual policy, but wanted to be paid the entire day. Well, we don't qualify for FMLA. In my state, you have to have more than 50 employees. We only have 20 employees right now, so we didn't qualify for FMLA. And out of good faith, we tried to make it work with her. We said, look, we'll do admin time. Your admin time's half a day, and you can do your doctor's visits during those admin times. Well, it turns out she started using that admin time for whatever and started doing her doctor's visits other times. Then she kept complaining and put this into the other PA's ears that, hey, if your salary, technically, you can take off, what the employee manual is, you can take off less than 2 hours and you got to get paid the whole day. So they were going behind my back and creating all these excuses to the manager about, oh, I need 2 hours here, I need an hour and a half here, or whatever. And it got to the point where they started working close to about 35, 34 hours a week sometimes, because almost every day they were taking time off and it was getting absurd. So finally, I had to basically tell them, if you can't meet your contractual obligation to work your 40-hour week, then we're gonna have to terminate this contract and move you over to part-time. Somehow I became the bad guy where they were alleging that I was discriminating and that they basically wanted to get paid and not work. And I told them, I hear you, and the whole time off was supposed to be a generous gift to someone else. But it got to the point where literally every week, every single PA that we had was taking 2 hours, 2 times, 3 times a week, and expected to get paid for the entire full day. So that's an extra 6 hours of work, almost an entire day of work that they were trying to get off without getting paid for. So eventually I had to get my lawyer involved and say, look, if you guys are not going to meet the contractual obligation, then you might as well go somewhere else. And eventually this first PA ended up leaving. They just quit. They said, I'm done, I'm going somewhere else. And it was amazing to see how much the culture had changed. We went from this bright culture of everyone loved being at work as much as you can love being at work. So when we showed up at work, you could feel the animosity. Even the medical assistants that were in the room with the physician assistants, they didn't even want to sit in there anymore because all they were doing was complaining. And every medical assistant would come back to me and say, I don't know what they're complaining about. They literally have it so good that they have no idea how good they have it. It was getting so toxic to the point where technically we have a 15-minute no-show. Well, this first PA, if they showed up 12 minutes late, they were somehow convincing the front desk that now, because it's more than 15 minutes after their appointment and they're not being brought back yet, they're refusing to see him. It devolved into toxicness. And honestly, we wrote them up a couple of times, and I probably should have terminated this employee faster because it really did taint the well with the other PA employees. And we knew that eventually those PAs were going to end up leaving, and they did end up leaving. And I knew that that was going to happen once that culture got tainted by someone who basically wanted to get paid full-time and not work full-time. Now, I get that they have their own health issues. I wish them the best. They're working somewhere else now. But at the same time, you're getting hired as a job through your contract to work 40 hours a week. And when you're pulling this crap where you're trying to take off 6 hours a week, hour and a half or 2 hours here and there almost every single day, you can't meet your contractual obligations, and we're going to have to talk about terminating you much sooner. I tried to be Mr. Nice Guy. I tried to sit down and tell them, we're going to create a new admin time. We're going to do this. We're going to do that to support you. Yeah, it didn't matter what I did. They were still unhappy and they kept doing more. Reminded me of that book whenever I was a kid. If you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to want some milk. There are some lovely, lovely employees that we have, and we bend over backwards for them, and they help us out a lot. But the whole point of this post is you need to identify those people that are toxic. Just got to cut the ties and go a separate way. It's going to end up killing the morale of your business. It's going to waste so much emotional time. You got to focus on patient care. You got to focus on growth. Going back, I should have terminated this person so much sooner. I was scared of terminating them because they were our very first PA. I felt some loyalty there. Like I said, clinically, she's a very good PA. It just divulged into toxicness towards the end. What I'm also trying to say with this post is that culture matters so much. You got to put your employees first, you got to put your patients first, and you got to tell your providers, whether it be a physician or PA or NP, you got to tell them to somewhat put themselves first. Advocate for yourself. If a patient's abusing you, life's too short for that. You got to tell me about it, and I'll tell them, hey, patient, you got to shape up or you got to get out. We're not putting up with that. So I know going forward, culture matters so much, and that's why we took so long to hire the right physicians. Now we have 2 more physicians working for us. Culturally, they're amazing. I'm so lucky to have both of them. We have 2 new PAs that have started. They're amazing so far as well. Lovely working with them. They're very motivated. They're very good. But this lesson that has taught me is that if there's anyone who is a bad employee and is starting to spread negativity around the office, first thing I'm going to do is sit them down, try to understand where they're coming from. And if we can't find a remedy on how to be a better person and not be negative at the workplace, it's best. They just don't fit in with our place. They need to go somewhere else. And I think I'm going to be much quicker to just terminate in the future and say, see you later. All right, you guys. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see y'all next time.